Welcome to our world. Won't you come on in? Waiting just for you. Welcome to our world.
I'm now recording.
There's so much right there that you just missed. And this is why I should be in control of the audio, because you just don't understand the importance of unscripted moments.
Takes a minute to get all this set up. We have quite the setup here. It takes a while to get everything checked.
Also, just kidding. Okay. Our whole podcast is unscripted, obviously.
Okay.
If you couldn't tell.
So here we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Okay.
Jim, what are we talking about today?
Welcome one and all. Okay.
Actually, I'm going to stop you right there. What do you think we're talking about today?
I mean, I had a couple ideas, which, I've been thinking about these for the last 2 minutes. One is the hurricane that's coming.
I already vetoed that.
No, you didn't let me finish. Okay, I'll expand upon that.
And also, let me remind you, you saying the hurricane that is coming, by the time this episode airs, the hurricane will have passed
Obviously,
through.
I'm not. Okay, so the hurricane, which just came through here and knocked our house down, total devastation.
Completely decimated our lives. It's not funny because people are actually
it's funny because I'm talking about
and their houses and all of their worldly possessions.
No, I wanted to talk, since this is very likely going to be an airing of grievances, right? Airing my grievances.
Okay, let's just officially call this an airing of grievances then, since you can't seem to have... You know what? Let me go first. My first complaint is that any episode idea you've ever had besides the AI one has just been you complaining.
Because I was kind of complaining during that one too about people that were automatically negative about it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Even the bell curve, it was basically just one giant complaint from you.
It is. I'm angry in general.
So welcome, I guess, to Friday then, everyone.
I'm extremely angry.
To an airing of grievances.
So if it's the hurricane one, it's not just this specific hurricane.
No, we're not talking about hurricanes.
Let me finish.
I'm going to let you finish, but Beyonce had the
and
best.
That's what I was going to say.
That's so timely.
Beyonce, I know. No.
Wait, do you know about all that stuff with Beyonce?
I do, because I just had a conversation with Caitlin last night about it. Okay,
yeah, she's upset.
It's chilling, but anyway, we will have an episode about that.
No,
maybe we will have a guest on the program, an expert.
No one's
if
coming
you will.
for me.
Okay, can we move on? Okay. So getting back to what I was saying, okay, it would be the hurricane / fear-mongering when it comes to weather / climate change. Okay, so it would be sort of all of those things. Or my second option would be basically freedom of speech and the issues that I have. Not with freedom of speech, okay? I'm pro free speech. The issues that I have with people that are clearly not pro free speech, okay? So now that I've given you the two options, you could pick what's behind curtain 1, curtain 2, or the box, which is number 3, which you don't know what that will be.
I choose the box.
I don't know what that will be either.
I knew you were going to say that. So the issue is because actually I'm wrong. You did not just have AI in the bell curve. You also had baths versus showers, which, as we all know, people were super invested in.
I know.
And that wasn't, that episode definitely wasn't just one giant mess at all. So...
and speaking of that, I think we need to have a follow-up episode where we delve more deeply into the bathtub into the baths versus showers, okay?
Deal.
All right?
Okay, no.
Because there's so much that we just skimmed over. We didn't really go into the details.
Okay, so back to the airing of grievances. My second complaint about you
Wait.
is that...
Wait, so this is an airing of grievances of things just about me?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Is that
So probably be a multi-part episode.
An episode idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't... Whatever. Okay, go ahead. Let's talk about... Maybe we'll talk about hurricanes and climate change.
We probably should, because at least it's a little more timely.
No, but I mean, at this point, I've already complained, so this is already an airing of grievances.
Okay.
So I want you to complain about free speech. Go ahead.
Well, no, I don't want to. Hold on, I can't complain. So it has to be one or the other. It's an airing of grievances, but it has to be specific, because either one of those, I have a lot of complaints about. Free speech has to be an episode unto itself, I think.
I feel like I don't actually have a lot to say
about what? Free speech or about?
Gosh.
Okay.
Should this episode be hurricanes and free speech?
Let's go with the free speech. Let's go with the free speech.
I know, but hurricanes are more timely. And now here we are, 10
doesn't
minutes
matter.
into
Well, actually, it's not timely. By the time this airs, it won't be timely anymore.
Well, no, there's another hurricane forming.
Well, of course, there always are. Well, not always, but
I'm just saying. So maybe another one would be hitting. Life is worth living.
All right. Well, I can go with either one. We'll do the hurricanes.
Let's go with the hurricane, and then we'll see where we're at, and maybe we'll just throw free speech in there.
We'll split it into 2 episodes and on consecutive Fridays or whatever.
No, it's not Friday. That's this is the issue.
I don't remember
because
what
this
day.
needs to be. If it's a full topic, then it's a Tuesday episode.
Well, no, that's what I just asked you. Is it a grieving of episodes? Is it a grieving?
An airing of grievances.
Airing of grievances.
You do this every time.
Or a grieving of variances. Okay. All right. So whatever. You can pick what's going.
No.
Hurricanes.
Let me clarify.
No.
Can you want a full episode on hurricanes and climate change? Is that what we're doing right now? I'm fine.
Probably.
With that. If you have enough to say, then let's go.
Okay. And if it's not long enough, okay, fine. We can roll it into, because like you said, every episode's really an airing of my grievances.
I
anyway.
know.
Okay. So here's the thing. Okay, let me start with this. And this has always happened, where, like I said, you watch the weather and everything is like always like it's the worst storm in a century, whatever. Name the city, has never seen a storm like this. It's just everything is built up. And for a couple things here. As far as actual climate data, right? We only have, very accurate climate data at multiple levels of the atmosphere and all of that for 100 years? Okay, well, actually, not even when you talk, you figure the first satellite launched in 1959. I think 1959. So the point is, you didn't have those kind of observations up until that point, right? Now, you had people all over the country for the last, hundreds of years, maybe taking temperature measurements, but there were fewer locations.
That just
it wasn't as accurate.
Makes me think of in 1776.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Jefferson.
Yeah, when he said, "This is the wind." Yeah, and that's probably accurate. He stuck his finger out the window. So anyway, I think one of the issues is that it sort of goes back to the 24-hour news cycle, right? You have the Weather Channel, for instance, and you have different, more than just the Weather Channel now as far as 24-hour weather stations. But it's obviously in their best interest to scare people.
Sure. To
have people constantly watching, right? And I guarantee you, any major weather event, they're going to tie it in to climate change, okay? So that gets them more viewers. As far as hurricanes specifically go, it used to be that only hurricanes were named, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I don't remember if it's been 25 years now or whatever, but, 35, 40 years ago, if it wasn't a hurricane, it wasn't named. You didn't have Tropical Storm Debbie or whatever, they didn't name them because they realized it's a tropical storm. Not that people can't be flooded from a tropical storm and all that. Yeah, you can have Bad things happen to specific people in specific places. But all of a sudden they started naming them. And then they make a big deal that, whoa, a couple years ago, we went through the entire alphabet. We had to go to the Greek alphabet. And people that are not older don't probably realize that, hey, they haven't been naming tropical storms, for the past 100 years.
Sure.
So to them, they're thinking, God, this is like, oh my God,
deal.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me respond to a few things.
Okay,
there.
go.
Well, the first being, obviously I don't remember the time when things weren't named.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't have like as much of a gripe with that, I guess. Right. I actually just saw, and this is, well, maybe I should wait. I'll wait to add that until you get to like the climate change part more, I guess. Okay. Now I forget what I was going to say.
I'll just add to that because I want to hear what, that's the thing. I really want to hear what your response to this. But speaking of naming tropical storms and the Weather Channel, you have the stupid Weather Channel now names winter storms.
That's
okay?
what I was going to say was about, did I really just lose my train of thought again? What is happening right now? Go ahead,
yeah.
winter storm.
It's only been maybe...
Oh, no. Okay.
Go ahead. I don't know if it's been the last 10 years, 12 years, whatever that they've been doing this. Maybe it hasn't been 10 years.
With winter storms, you mean?
It's just ridiculously stupid. Okay.
To name winter storms.
Yes, because I feel like it's done for the same reason.
It's
but anyway,
it's for the shock factor.
I think it is.
It's a bigger deal.
I think
what I think is funny, and obviously, so this will air a few days after Hurricane Milton hits Florida. And obviously Hurricane Helene, there was just a ton of, devastation and destruction in like North Carolina and all of that. But I think from my memory, and like we've had bad hurricanes here too, like before you moved down here, we had, what was it, in 2018 or 2019, there was like a pretty bad one that I remember. But most of the tropical storms and the hurricanes, since I've been down here, it's a whole thing, and they terrify you, and they tell you this is the worst, like they're projecting it's going to be the worst storm since like whatever. I'm not going to give a percentage, but the majority of those like storms that I've experienced, it's been basically nothing.
Right.
And maybe that's just specifically the area that we're in, because we're obviously in the center of the state. So by the time stuff gets to us, it's died down a little bit. But it's not, I'm not talking about like generally, I'm talking about literally Orlando news will be like, this is projected to be one of the worst storms, and then nothing happens.
Right. And and that's my point, right? Because it's not to say that like obviously there are hurricanes that are devastating to specific areas.
Yeah.
But areas along the coast, right? It's not surprising. If you live, say, in Florida, but anywhere really along the southeast coast of the United States, do not be surprised if at some point a hurricane comes and does lots of damage, okay? Maybe takes your roof off, knocks windows out, whatever. It's like, it's like you're in a danger zone, right?
Oh,
and like I said, that's not to minimize, God, bad things that happen to people in some of these cases. But my frustration is that it's played up as though it never happened before.
Yeah, I want to backtrack to your sentence about saying, you're in a danger zone and all that. Part of the problem with what just happened in North Carolina was that I guess I can't remember if it was actually Asheville, because that's where I remember hearing the most about like all the damage there. But one of the cities had like part of their advertisement for the city was that it was like safe from storms, and it was a weather neutral zone or something, and that was part of the reason, like part of the draw, quote unquote, to get people to move there was, well, you'll be okay if a storm hits. And so now there's so much backlash because people are like, that's not true.
Right.
Obviously they're not okay, and so you lying to get people to move here is actually kind of insane.
Right.
And so like, yeah, obviously in Florida, if you're on the coast, you're not an idiot. You accept that storms are gonna,
you should.
But, well, yeah, you should. Anyway.
The thing is, though, the fear-mongering part again,
Right.
The problem with that is, in fact, it literally just a few minutes ago, I heard the TV was on in the other room, and there was a news conference, right? And it was the president, vice president, maybe it was the head of, I don't know if it was the head of FEMA or whatever, but the part Kamala Harris came on, and I'm not saying this to be political. In other words,
not political.
It doesn't matter if it's a Democrat, Republican. First of all, it is the right thing to do to have a news conference at that point. But the one thing that she said was, this is not like, I forget how she said it. She made it like, this is serious. Like, don't ignore this. This is kind of, I forget if she used the word historic or, this is different, kind of. Okay. And here's the problem. People can only hear this is different so many times, right? Like you said, when you first came down here, you were probably terrified when the first hurricane was coming through.
Just that first
maybe
one.
Terrified's not quite the word, but
I was terrified.
You're really worried.
We were talking about that boarding, and I don't remember which one that actually was.
And I even called you, and I remember saying, like, well, you guys should be doing this. Aren't you doing this? The power did go out. Yeah.
I remember because my car was in the garage and I needed to like pull the door up manually to be able to get out because I actually had to go to work. So that's how you know that it wasn't
how bad could it be?
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it like that necessarily, but you know what I mean.
Right. I mean, that's a whole other thing. Companies that stay open when maybe they should close.
Disney. All right.
But I guess my point is, if you keep saying this is different, this is historic,
it's the boy
you have to
who
take
cried
this seriously.
wolf.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. It's the boy who cried wolf. And eventually people just start to, they use their actual brain and they say, you told me that the last 5 times.
And the issue, then when it actually is serious, people are so desensitized to hearing, oh, this is serious. They're like, well, if it's like the last one, it wasn't that serious, so I'm not going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know the story of the boy, the boy who cried wolf, I don't know. Maybe people don't know. I'll give a brief recap so that my voice is in this episode too somewhere.
Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay with you doing this. You should do this. But do me a favor.
It's going to be 2 sentences.
I know, but in the background, I want you to play some kind of bedtime music.
I refuse to do that.
Yes, I will do it.
Okay, well, go ahead. You can hum while
I'm not going to hum.
Long story short, the boy who cried wolf, he comes into the town every day and he tells people that a wolf is coming. And so the first day, the townspeople are like, oh my gosh, there's a wolf coming. And they freak out and they get secure and they like do whatever they have to do when a wolf's coming. No wolf shows up. Second day, he comes back and he's like, there's a wolf. And they still freak out, but now they're a little bit like, well, you said that yesterday, though, and it didn't come. But still, it's a wolf, so we got to hurry up. And I don't even remember how many days this is actually, so I'm just going to skip. So day like 7, let's say, of him coming into town saying, guys, there's a wolf coming. And they're so desensitized at this point that they're like, you've told us this every day for a week. You're a liar and you're not credible. You're not a credible source.
Right.
And I don't believe you. And guess what? We are not going to do anything to protect ourselves from this imaginary wolf. And then day 7, because they're so desensitized and don't do anything, wolf shows up and kills everyone. That's the story. End scene.
Right. And it makes sense. Yeah. Right. And I don't remember, so the boy who cried wolf.
Yes.
Was he just making it up the first 6 days?
I don't remember.
Or it's almost irrelevant though, right?
It is irrelevant, yeah.
And here's the thing. That's not to say, like, if there are areas, like obviously areas along the coast, okay? If you live on a barrier island, I would get off the island, right?
Right.
And it makes sense for them to be talking to those people and say how serious this is. But like you said, when you have someone in Orlando, okay? And not that Orlando can't get flooding or anything, but it's a big difference between Orlando and Tampa or Sarasota, areas that are right along the coastline. When you have a local weatherman, or it could be anybody, county officials, or it could be the president or vice president.
Or a weather woman.
Yes. Talking to people.
You sexist.
I was using, anyway, that's a whole other thing.
I know.
No, when you have.
It's a joke, everyone.
In other words, you have to be honest with people, and maybe just as important, you have to know what you're talking about.
Right.
Right. It's easy for any politician to get up there and just doomsday and this is terrible and this is, okay, you better know what you're talking about. So you better have a different message for the people in Tampa versus the people in Orlando, because it is huge. Just so you people know. No, people from Tampa are evacuating and they're coming toward the center of the state. Okay. I don't know what percentage, but a very small number would actually be leaving the state.
Well, a lot of people right now are going north because I saw a lot of people that were going to like Jacksonville.
Right.
Because if you look at the path of the storm, it is going to like cut across the middle. And so they're trying to get above it.
But my point is,
I understand what you're saying.
They're trying to get completely away from it. So there's a very good chance. Like tonight, I will be really amazed tomorrow morning, if we don't have any power outages, right? I mean, the power may go off in the middle of the night, and it might be off for 12 hours. It might be off for an hour, back on, off for another hour. So the point is, are we going to have power outages? Very likely that we'll have power outages.
Will we be inconvenienced? Yes.
Right. There's a big difference between inconvenience and devastation.
Threat to life and limb.
And that's not to say, is there no chance that maybe we're not going to have, say, flooding, or is there a house right in this area that a branch could come off a tree and hit a window and break a window? Yeah, absolutely, there's that. But it's not devastation on a large scale.
You know what's annoying?
What?
Is when you get off on one of these little monologues, which is fine. You're saying a lot of good things. But then when I cut in the middle with like a fun little joke, and you are so wrapped up in what you're saying that you don't even acknowledge that I've spoken.
Did you speak?
Or respond. I don't even remember what I just said. It's not like it was that funny. But it would have gotten a chuckle had you been listening. And so I'm just like slightly annoyed.
I don't know if I ever chuckled.
We should just give you your own podcast where you can just talk for a straight hour every day.
Wait a minute.
What you need.
Hold on. Just to be clear, the reason this was my subject is because you said the last few episodes I've done most of the talking, as in you, right?
Because I felt like I did.
Which I kind of disagreed, and I thought they were really good episodes. Maybe that's why they were good episodes.
That's not to say, though, that this isn't a conversation. So, and I didn't even want to cut you off. I just made a joke, and I just wanted you to respond to the joke.
I wish you remembered what it was.
It wasn't even a joke. That's such an overreach. It was just like a little quip.
The important thing is people who listen to the podcast will hear it.
I know, but now I'm making a big deal out of it. It wasn't that funny. It probably wasn't even funny at all.
Maybe they will. Here's the thing. Probably right at the point or right before you said it, probably they'll be thinking, God, will you shut up? Right? As far as I'm concerned.
I don't think so.
So maybe they will, but
I don't think so. So you, I mean, obviously I agree with everything that you're saying. So you're just talking about storms in general and like hurricanes and all that stuff. So obviously we all see where this is going.
Right.
Me more so than others because you're my father.
Right.
So how does this tie into, but actually, obviously, these storms are so much worse because of climate change.
Well, yeah, then we can all agree on that.
Have a great week, everyone.
No, the science is decided. There's no reason to ever look at this again. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. You can't say hello.
Oh, I can't say it. Well, I've said it now.
I think...
Hello, this is Samantha from the future.
That's like the one guy I watch, he does videos, and that's what he says. Like he edits his videos afterward, and he says like, it's Crazy Postman, he's called. And he says, this is Crazy Postman from the future. And he says... And then he explains whatever happened or something.
So we're going to cut the episode right here.
Yeah.
Because we all know that you only have a limited amount of time to listen to these. So we'll see you on Friday for part 2.
Yep. And look, part 2 is really exciting.
Well, it's about as exciting as part 1.
Okay. This is why. Go ahead.
Because this is why in the beginning... When we started all of this, I said that one of our main draws would be our witty banter, and that's why I included it in the trailer. And you hate that phrase so much.
I do.
But that's what it is. That's what we just did. It was banter that was witty.
I think... I don't know. Witty banter just sounds like it minimizes it to me. I think it's hilarious. We do some hilarious back and forth.
That's called banter.
We need video for this.
Hold on. I'm going to look up the definition of...
I know what... No, I'm not talking about the I'm not talking about the definition.
The definition of banter. The playful and friendly exchange of teasing remarks.
Friendly?
As in, there was much singing and good-natured banter.
We've done no singing, first of all.
I sing a lot on here. You just ridicule me for
No,
it.
I'm probably in the middle of saying something at the time, so I don't hear you. I speak over you. Over your witty banter.
Let it go.
Okay, all right.
That was so flat. I'm going to cut that
Try it
out.
one more time.
No.
Okay.
Let it go.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Yeah, that never really works.